Santa, I've been good this year. Make your list and check it twice. I'll leave you a note right here underneath the Christmas lights. Carols and bells, none of them help. I still feel blue. I just wanna fall in love this Christmas. I don't need a fancy watch.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Hayley's Space. My name is Hayley and I'm a nurse and knitter from Melbourne, Australia. And this is week 2 of Vlogmas 2023. Today is Monday the 4th of December, I believe, and I've had a really chill morning this morning. I stayed up quite late last night because I'm going back on night shifts this week. So I slept until about 9:30. Then I got up, tidied the house, did some things around the house and took myself for a walk outside. Today it is 30 degrees outside and the sun is shining. I think I said at the start of my last vlog that the weather is up and down in spring in Melbourne, and this week is a hot week. And we're expecting rain on Saturday, I think, Friday or Saturday. So trying to make the most of the weather whilst we've got it. So I took myself for a little walk, which you would have seen. It was beautiful outside. Then I spent the morning doing some knitting and I took myself to Spotlight as well to get some fabric for some scrub tops that I'm going to make for Christmas. And I'll show you the fabrics for those. 2 of the fabrics I got enough to make a shirt and pants. And then the other fabrics I just got enough to make the scrub tops. So first one, this is for shirt and pants, is a Mickey and Friends fabric, which is really cute. These are all 100% cotton, by the way. Mickey and Friends, which is super cute. And I'd love to wear these for Christmas Day and just be that nurse who's fully decked out. I've got candy cane earrings that match. So there's this one, this white with candy cane print fabric. So I'm going to make a top and pants out of those and hopefully wear that on Christmas Day. And then the rest are just for tops. So this is just a red gingerbread man one. This one is the Grinch. I'm not sure if you can see him. He's hiding behind some of the wreaths here. And he's super cute. Then this last one isn't Christmas themed. I just thought it was really sweet. It is Disney. And it's a bunch of Disney characters. So you've got your Dumbo, Bambi, Simba, Thumper. I think there's a couple of the Aristocats on here as well. And some Dalmatians as well. Oh, and Nala's on there, I've just noticed. So those are all the fabrics I got from Spotlight. I'm going to make some scrub tops tonight. I think I'm going to make the gingerbread one tonight or this evening. It's about 6 p.m. now, I think, or maybe 6:30. So it's quite late in the evening for me to be updating you. The next thing I wanted to show you, if you've seen episode 1, I was knitting on a pair of penny gloves as a gift for my nana. And I finished those the other night and they just dried this morning because the weather's been so warm. They dried super quick. So this is them. They look like different sizes, but I promise you they're the same size. I'll try them on for you so you can see. The gauge is quite loose. And that's just because of the yarn that I used and the needle size I used. I'll show you in a second. I used Abbey Road, the Cries Merino, to knit these up with a 4mm needle because I don't have a 3.5. I think these would have come out really nicely on a 3.5, but I've only got a 4, so that's what I used, and I don't mind them. They fit really well. I got gauge, so they're just a little bit loose is all, and a little bit airy, but I think they're perfect. They're still really warm. Like my hands are getting really, really warm. So there's those. I'm going to wrap those up to gift to my nana. I won't see her until the 30th anyway, so I'm glad that I can tick that gift knit off my list. I'm really happy that I got that done. I have cast on another pair here with a 3mm needle, I think this is, or 3.25 maybe. I think it's a 3. And these are for my boyfriend's. See, last time I said that I was making a pair for my boyfriend's sister using the Drops Baby Merino. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that yarn for this project on its own. I think I need to get some more mohair. So I'm going to try and see how this one comes out, and might give these to my boyfriend's sister. We'll see. But yeah, a smaller gauge, a little bit tighter. Hopefully they're a little bit tighter fitting and a little bit less airy. And at the end of my last vlog, I mentioned I wanted to make some Christmas ornaments. I'm in the mood for some instant gratification, some quick knits. And I had casted on a little Christmas sweater ornament, which I finished last night and I blocked this morning and is completely dry, which is great. I think it only took like an hour or something to dry. And this is just in some stash acrylic yarn that I have had lying around. And I'm thinking of duplicate stitching an H on it for Haley, because I'm making another one in a dark brown. I just cast this one on this morning. I'm about halfway through the raglan increases. And this is also just stash acrylic. It's the same weight as the cream one. But I'm thinking of using this dark brown yarn to duplicate stitch an H on this one. And then on this one, I'll use the cream yarn to duplicate stitch a C, and that's my boyfriend's first initial. So I thought that could be quite cute, and then we each have our own little sweater on the tree. I've got one last knitting thing to update you on. Last night I was going through my stash and I wanted to cast some new things on, a bit more of a longer project. And I'm kind of breaking a promise that I made to myself. So I currently have a porcelain sweater and a Moby sweater on the needles, and I was telling myself for the last couple of months I'm not going to cast any more sweaters on until I've finished at least one of those. With the porcelain sweater, I'm almost finished with the body. I've got one more colorwork motif to do, and then I'm at the ribbing basically, and then I've just got to do the sleeves and the neckline. So I would say I'm almost halfway through that sweater. But I just haven't had the motivation to work on it. And last night I was watching Handmade by Florence, and I have made her step-by-step sweater before. And I was looking at my stash and I had this white yarn, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just cast on a step-by-step. Because I love the raglan construction, and I love the step-by-step sweater pattern. I think it's an Aran or worsted weight pattern. I'm using a 5.5mm needle, and it's just a quick garment knit, and I just love the way that it looks. So I cast that on. I'll show you. I'm about halfway through the ribbing. I'm going to do the folded neckline. So I'm about halfway through the ribbing now, and I'm using this yarn from Spotlight, which is just a commercial craft store here in Australia, and it's the 4 Seasons half and half. So this is 50% acrylic, 50% wool. So yeah, I cast that on. Now that I'm looking at it and thinking about it, I really should just work on my porcelain sweater, and I might put this on hold and just try and get through my porcelain. I think it's just the idea of having to do more color work, I think, is just exhausting my brain at the moment, because you really have to concentrate on what you're doing. But I know that I could punch out the color work in an evening kind of thing, you know? So we'll see. But that's my update for the time being. In terms of the rest of this evening, I'm going to make one of the scrub tops tonight. I've already got all the pattern pieces cut out, so I just need to pin it to my fabric, cut it out and sew it together. That's not a problem. That'll be pretty straightforward. It will only take me a couple of hours. And then I think I'll probably sit on the couch and do some more work, maybe on my ornament, my sweater ornament, and hopefully get some progress in on these mittens. As I said, I go back on night shifts at the end of this week. I go back on nights on Thursday. So each day I'm staying up late and sleeping in, just so I can try and keep a level of consistency, and it's not that hard to get back into the night shift routine. So I'll be up till about 2 tonight. So much more content coming for today. It's not a short one, don't worry. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you to everyone who's watched my first episode. By the time this comes out, a whole nother week will have passed, but I really appreciate all the love over there, and feel free to subscribe if you want to get notified when I put out my next vlogmas episode or my next podcast episodes next year. Thank you again for being here and for choosing to watch my vlogmas this year. I am going to get on with it and start pinning down some pattern pieces.
No, you can't make it in the shop. You can't put it on your sleigh. You know me so well, nobody else can do what you do. I just wanna fall in love this Christmas. I just wanna fall in love. Save the wrapping paper, your ribbon and bow. I don't need that extra stuff. Oh, I just wanna fall in love. Santa, I've been good this year. Make your list and check it twice. I'll leave you a note right here underneath the Christmas lights. You know me so well, and nobody else can do what you do. I just wanna fall in love this Christmas.
Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. It is another beautiful sunny and hot day here in Melbourne. This morning I woke up at about 9:30 again, got out of bed maybe around 10, and I had a coffee, had some breakfast, and I caught up on some vlogmases. There's a couple new ones that I've been watching. I'll link everyone that I've been watching down in the description below, but I caught up on some Ollie and Bella and FibreBound and a couple of other big ones, but I'll link everything down below. But yeah, I caught up on some vlogmases and I did a little bit of knitting, which I will show you. So I showed you these ones yesterday. They're both penny gloves, by the way. I showed you these ones yesterday, the grey ones with the Cries Merino. Did a couple rows on that, maybe I don't know, like 10 or 15 rows, but it's quite a small needle size, so progress is slow. And then I decided to cast on another pair, but a chunkier weight. So this is what I am knitting up at the moment. This is on a 4mm needle using Mawson. I can't remember what the yarn is called. I'll put it all here and link everything down below as well, but it is an alpaca wool blend, I believe. And I've had this sitting in my stash for ages. I made a sweater out of this yarn and I have about this much left over that's just been sitting in my stash forever and ever. And I thought I could probably get a pair of penny gloves out of that. So I knit up a gauge swatch with my 4mm needles. And I got 18 stitches per 4 inches, and then I used the app My Row Counter to adapt my swatch to the pattern. So on the app you type in the gauge for the pattern and then you type in your gauge numbers, and then you write in how many stitches you need or how many rows you need based on the instructions in the pattern, and then it will spit out the number of stitches that you need for your gauge. So for example, say the pattern says cast on 100 stitches, you type in the pattern gauge, your gauge, and then type in 100 stitches and then click OK, and it will spit out the number of stitches that you actually need for that pattern, if that makes sense. So I use that to cast on the number of stitches I need for this pair of penny gloves. And I figured I'm just going to knit up one and see how it feels on the hand, and if it doesn't feel too bulky or uncomfortable, I'll probably gift them and use this as one of my gift knits this year, but we'll just see. As I said yesterday, I need some quick satisfaction knits, so I was like, I'll cast on something in a chunkier weight so that whilst I'm working on the thinner pair, the smaller pair, I still have something that I'm making some quick progress on. That's just the mood I'm in at the moment. That's just where I'm at, so I'm okay with that. You would have seen last night as well, I finished my other mini sweater and it's just outside drying now. I blocked it last night and then left it on the drying rack, but I've just popped it out in the sun, so hopefully it dries within the next hour. And then I'll need to do the duplicate stitch on the front of those, and then they'll be ready to hang on the tree. So hopefully I'll get that done today. Last night as well, I worked on one of my scrub tops using the green Grinch fabric. And I did most of that. I did the main body and the sleeves. The only thing I have left to do now is hemming the bottom edge and then also the neckline. I am having some issues with sizing though. So I've made a couple scrub tops in the past for Halloween. The issue with the sizing was that they're very straight cut, in the sense that whilst the top fits my bust and I've selected the size that's appropriate for my bust with the appropriate amount of ease, that amount of ease doesn't allow for my hip measurement. So when it reaches my hips, it gets tight, and so it just looks a bit funny. And I've tried sizing up quite a few sizes and trying it that way, but what ends up happening is that the sleeve depth is way too long then, and I end up having really big baggy sleeves and all this fabric under here that just doesn't fit right. So if you have any sewing tips or recommendations for adjusting pattern sizing to accommodate just for the hip measurement and not changing the sleeve depth, please let me know down below. If there's any sewists among you who can give me some advice, I'd be greatly appreciated, because I want these tops to fit properly so that I can wear them every year and they're comfortable at work. As for my plan for the rest of the day, I am really keen to just knit today. I know the weather is so nice, but in typical introvert fashion, I'm probably going to stay inside. But I am going out tonight. I'm going to see the 50 Cent concert with my best friend. I bought her and I tickets a while ago, actually, as a gift for our friend anniversary. That was a couple months ago. I did a pretty good job of convincing her that we weren't going to go. I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend money, to go and see 50 Cent. He's not really one of those artists who I really want to go see, kind of thing. And so it was a big surprise when I gifted her those tickets. So she's very excited. I'm excited too. It's going to be a good night. That's not until about 7 or 8 o'clock. So I've still got a couple hours to get some things done. I think I also want to do some cooking today, and I want to make some banana bread. I've got a box mix of banana bread that I want to make up. So we might do that today as well. But yeah, really chill, just taking it each day as it comes. Not really putting any pressure on myself at the moment, which is really nice. I think it's nice around this time of year to not feel stressed and busy and overwhelmed. So it's been nice having a few days off to enjoy doing what I want to do. Alrighty, I'm gonna get on with my day, and I will check back in with you guys later this evening, hopefully.
Christmas is coming, the snowflakes will be falling. It's the most wonderful time of year. So hang up your stockings, put the tinsel on the tree, because Christmas is coming, my dear. It's the only time of year the reindeer...
Funny story, I was going to make banana bread, but I don't actually have any bananas. So we're making cupcakes.
Gather all your family round, or go out and paint the town. It's the only time of year the whole wide world turns upside down. So baby, light a fire and we'll toast the night away, because Christmas is coming our way.
First attempt at duplicate stitch. It's not too bad.
It's the only time of year the reindeer fly. You can't see them on their sleigh ride across the sky. Gather all your friends around, or go out and paint the town. It's the only time of year the whole wide world.
Hey guys, I am just getting ready for the 50 Cent concert, and I thought I might as well update you whilst I'm doing my makeup, if that's okay. I ended up having a really productive morning. Got some knitting done. I worked on my penny gloves, the chunkier weight version, and then I did some baking. I realized I didn't have any bananas, so I couldn't make banana bread. Funny that. So we made chocolate cupcakes instead, and they're actually delicious. I'm so glad that I made those. I had a vanilla cake box mix in there as well, but I just wasn't really feeling the vanilla cake vibe. So chocolate cupcakes was the way to go. And I also made myself some lunch. I made myself some salmon for lunch, which was delicious. And I ate that whilst watching some Ollie and Bella vlogmas, which was great. She has so many yarn advents this year, and I'm so jealous. I gave a reason in episode 1 for why I don't need a yarny advent. Main reason is for stash busting purposes, but seeing everyone's beautiful yarn advents, it does make me get a little bit of FOMO. So I'm thinking next year I'll definitely have to get a yarny advent and do an advent project. I think that would just be so fun. I didn't end up doing any sewing at all, which is fine. I've got plenty of time before Christmas to get a little bit more sewing in, so I'm not stressed about that. But I did finish up the mini sweater ornaments that I made. I did the duplicate stitch on those, and that was the first time I've ever done duplicate stitch, so I'm quite proud of myself. It was a little bit messy, and managing the tension is a little bit difficult, and I think especially with the yarn I was using, the acrylic, it was really hard to work out what the tension actually was. So I was pulling tight, but then it was coming out quite loose and looking really bulky and bulgy. But it's all a learning process. And so they're on the tree now, looking super cute. I think I'm gonna have to pause while I do my eyebrows. I have eyebrows on now. Can't remember exactly what I was talking about. I think I was talking about duplicate stitch. But I think it's just a learning process. I think it'll just take me some time to perfect that skill, and that's fine. I feel like with knitting especially, I'm always learning new things, so it's just one more new skill that I can add to my repertoire, which I'm really excited about actually. When I started knitting, I didn't really track my progress, and so I never really noticed when I went from beginner to, I guess, more intermediate kind of knits. And I would still consider myself a fairly beginner knitter. I began knitting in lockdown, so 2020, 2021 kind of time. I would still consider myself now a beginner knitter, but every time I add, a new skill to my repertoire, it's kind of like increasing my abilities, and I guess I'm not really a beginner anymore. If I really sat down and took stock of all of my knitting skills, I think I'd probably realize that I'm a bit more advanced than I think. All that to say, I am excited that I now know how to do duplicate stitch. My makeup is definitely a trust the process situation, so no quick judgments, please. I'm going to my friend's house first. We're gonna have some dinner together and then take the train to the concert, so I probably won't speak to you guys again until tomorrow. So thank you for joining me again today, and thank you for choosing to watch my vlogmas this year. I really appreciate having each and every one of you here. I'm sure you've probably heard this year already, but there's a lot of content going around, so thank you so much for choosing to spend part of your Christmas with me. I will pause my contour blending situation for a moment to say thank you, and I hope you're having a lovely day, evening, morning, whatever it is, wherever you are, and I will speak to you again tomorrow morning. Hello everyone, it is 5:30 p.m. and I have a valid reason for not vlogging this morning. I have been on a work Zoom call webinar thing all morning, and that finished at around 4 o'clock. So I really didn't do much this morning besides work, so there obviously wasn't anything to show you. I now have a free evening to do whatever I would like to do. I've tidied and cleaned the house. I've done 3 loads of laundry this morning. And so I have the whole evening to myself, and I'm going to take you along with me. Before we get into that, I'm going to show you what I knit on whilst I was in my work call today. I'm upskilling, so I had to do like a webinar call in order to be able to perform this new skill at work. So whilst I was doing that, I knit on my chunky weight penny glove. As you would have seen yesterday, I cast on and was working on the wrist portion, and I finished the rest of this glove this morning whilst I was on the Zoom call. I'm going to be honest with you, whilst chunky yarn and chunky knits sort of have their place, I'm not the biggest fan of them, especially with this glove. I just find that it looks quite, I guess, messy and a bit unprofessional and unfinished. I have blocked it, it's wet, hence why it looks kind of stiff as a board, but I'm just not in love with it, and I'm not sure it's something that I want to gift, because I don't think it's a really accurate representation of my skills, and it's not really something I want this person to receive. So whilst I enjoyed knitting on it, I think that I'm going to put this one to the side. Another issue that I had was that when I measured this glove when it was finished, it weighed 25 grams, and this ball of yarn is 15 grams. So I really don't have enough yarn to knit up a second one, and I'm not going to buy a whole new ball of this yarn just to finish off like this much of a glove. So I think I'm going to put this one to the side for a bit. Who knows, I may finish it eventually just for myself, just to have a pair for myself, which is fine. But I think I'm going to work on something else this evening. I'm not sure what yet though, so that's something I think I will decide in a minute. Last night, 50 Cent was amazing. I had such a good time. He was such a great performer, and I didn't realize how much music he actually has. He sung the entire time, well, rapped the entire time. I think he only spoke to the crowd like once or twice, so really was putting in the work for a solid couple of hours. But he was fantastic, and we had such a great time. I do need to catch up on some vlogmases. I have almost finished Penrose Knits day 5. There's quite a few that I need to catch up on, so I'm going to go through my YouTube and catch up on some of those. I also need to pick what I want to knit on this evening, and then I'm leaning towards watching Harry Potter Prisoner of Azkaban tonight. I know that's not a Christmas movie, but to me it's probably one of the more festive ones. The first one and the third one are the ones that I would consider festive. I don't know if that's just because they have, I guess, cozy vibes. I don't know what it is. I think for me it's like the spooky vibes of the third one gives me festive season energy. I don't know. I don't know. I might watch that movie. Otherwise, I don't really know what else I want to do this evening. We really need to pick something to knit on. I'm thinking maybe we'll do the next color work portion of my porcelain sweater. I think that is what I'm leaning towards, which is interesting because I really haven't had any mojo for that project for the last couple of weeks. So I think we might get that one out. I haven't really shown that since my last podcast, so I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the next colorwork portion of my porcelain sweater, see how long it takes me to get through that last motif, and then see how I feel after that. So I think that's what we'll do. I think we'll pop Prisoner of Azkaban on and finish the next colourwork motif of my porcelain sweater.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild.
It's 7:30 now and I'm gonna go for a little walk.
Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night. Shepherds quake at the sight, and glory stream from heaven afar. Heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born.
Hi everyone, it is Sunday now and I'm just popping in to round off this week of Vlogmas. I took Thursday and Friday off from filming because I really didn't do anything. Thursday I was feeling exhausted and I spent most of the day in bed and then went to work in the evening overnight. And then Friday I spent the day in bed again, but I was reading the whole day, so I really didn't show you guys much of that. I got through quite a few books that were on my Kindle that I wanted to read, so that was all I did on Friday. And then I was planning on coming back yesterday for like a proper vlog, but I have been feeling horrible. Coming back onto nights after that many days off has really sort of hit me, and I'm feeling exhausted and so run down. So yesterday I took it slow in the morning. I did some knitting, which you would have seen, and I actually made a scrub top, one of my Christmas ones with the Mickey and Friends fabric. which I wore to work last night as well, which was really cute. And you would have just seen I filmed a little night shift vlog for you, just showing you some of the things that I do throughout my 10-hour shift overnight. I was planning on vlogging again today, sort of properly, and doing some things around the house, maybe doing some more baking, but I woke up at 5 o'clock. I slept through most of the day, which is good. I need the sleep, obviously, but waking up, I feel so sluggish and so worn down, so I don't think pushing myself to produce a vlog is going to be that entertaining for you guys, because it will sort of portray how I'm feeling, which is not great. That's really all that's going on with me. I will show you my knitting actually. I have talked multiple times about these gift knits, how I want to knit penny gloves for my boyfriend's mum and my boyfriend's sister. And I've done multiple iterations of them now. I tried with the Drops Baby Merino, which you would have seen, and I was going to knit it up with the Abbey Road Cries Merino on a 3.5mm needle. No, a 3mm needle. Basically, I frogged that because I was finding it really tedious trying to work with this yarn with a 3mm needle. You're not going to be able to see it, but it is a chain blown yarn. So I found when I was trying to do increases and stuff, my needle was piercing through the middle of the chain and not actually picking up the stitch. So I am now on a 4mm needle, and I only have one ball of this yarn, and I needed one and a little bit of this ball to finish the pair that I knit for my nan. So what I've decided to do is knit the wrist portion 10 rows shorter than my nan's version, which covers a significant portion of the wrist anyway, in the hopes that I can get a full pair out of this ball and not have to buy another one, so I can get it out of my stash. So I'm up to the hand increases now. So that's what I've been working on and off. I really haven't knit much towards the back end of this week, just because of how I've been feeling, which is fine. I mean, as I said at the start of Vlogmas, I want this to fit in with my lifestyle and fit around my life and not be something that sort of weighs me down or feels like a chore. And this week it was one of those things where it was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to film today? And I'm not feeling great, and I don't want to, make people feel unfestive with me feeling so tired. So I think it's perfectly valid and fair for me to put down the camera for a couple of days. The sun is disappearing quite rapidly. It is like 7:30 now, 7:30 p.m. So I'm going to have some dinner and get moving and get ready to head into work soon. But thank you so much for joining me this week. I really appreciate it. As I said last week, I really appreciate that you're taking the time to spend part of your festive season and your Christmas with me. And I hope you're enjoying it so far. Apologies for the lack of knitting content this week, but such is life, and such is the way of Vlogmas. But we'll see how we go next week. Thank you again. I hope you're safe and well wherever you are, and happy holidays.